Hello, welcome to the video. Today we're going to be talking about the big daddy that is cruising towards the Middle East as we speak. The USS Carl Vinson is making its way to add to the firepower of the Harry S. Truman. This carrier strike group is going to double down on the amount of power that is going to be exerted onto the Houthi rebels. And we're going to talk about how each system could potentially be used against Houthi drones, against missiles, against the rebels themselves. Right now, we've got a carrier group in the Red Sea, the Harry S. Truman. Where will the Carl Vinson go? It's making its way over to the Middle East from the Philippines, and it could arrive at any moment. As of the time this video being made, it's in transit, but hey, it could be arriving right now. At the end of the day, I believe this carrier strike group will be put more towards Oman, more towards an area and a region where they can exert dominance over the Houthi rebels in Yemen if needed, closer to where the Harry S. Truman is, or they could be making their way to any type of conflict that happens in the Persian Gulf, specifically the Straits of Hormuz. If Iran decided to try to shut down the straits, squeeze off the ability of oil to flow through that region, I tell you what, having flown the F-15E over the Persian Gulf, I looked down and basically it looked like the Persian Gulf was black with tankers, with oil tankers. Literally, they were so thick, it was crazy to think that they could actually maneuver. It was essentially like a game of Tetris. There were so many oil tankers. So much energy of the world flows through the Persian Gulf and the Straits of Hormuz that we have to make sure that Iran doesn't shut it down. And if you've seen my former videos, you know that Iran loves little fast boats, little speed boats. Not that those aren't fun, but they load these things up with explosives, with guns to wreak havoc, to potentially shut down the Straits of Hormuz. Now that wouldn't be good for Iran either, but I believe bringing that USS Carl Vinson and putting that carrier strike group, that big daddy strike group, right in a position where it would basically be like, hey Iran, try it. I dare you. Fly around your drones and find out. We're going to talk about the specific weapon systems on the Vinson and what could be used against the Houthi rebels, what could be used against Iran, and then again, negotiations are happening as we speak, likely about the Iranian nuclear program, an Iranian deal. So that Carl Vinson is just one more little feather in the cap from a negotiations perspective, from a deterrence perspective, and we're going to talk about the different aircraft, the F-35s, the F-18s, the F-18Es, the F-18Fs, the EA-18Gs, the E-2s, all the different aircraft that are going to combine into that carrier strike group to make that air wing one of the best negotiating tactics probably in the history of the world. So we're going to talk about both sides, Iran, Houthis. Let's dive in. The Carl Vinson is the flagship of Carrier Strike Group 1, and Carrier Air Wing 2 serves as her air wing. That's what's going to be really raining down the hate from the Carl Vinson onto the Houthis, and who knows, potentially Iran. Hopefully that can be avoided. But that Carrier Air Wing 2 is really packing a punch. So the Carl Vinson is a Nimitz-class aircraft carrier, and it's equipped with the weapons that basically keep the enemy up at night. It has what's called rolling airframe missiles, or RAM. It has two Mk-49 guided missile launching systems. Each of those carry 21 RAM 116 rolling airframe missiles. This is not something to be played with. And these are short-range, lightweight, quick reaction missiles that you could target something like drones, potentially missiles coming from the Houthi rebels. It also has evolved Sea Sparrow missile launchers. These can carry RIM 162 weapons or RIM 7 Sea Sparrow missiles. These are surface-to-air missiles. They pack a little more punch than the missiles I talked about previously, and these can be used as surface-to-air missiles or surface-to-ship missiles. These are very versatile and pack a punch. These are the heavyweights. This is what the carrier brings to the fight when it needs a big stick. And then I want to talk about the guns. These are potentially not given the credibility that they deserve, but when it comes to fighting drones, slow-moving aircraft, let's talk about the radar-assisted guns. And I want you to hone in on the fact that these are radar-assisted. It has 4 Mk-15 Phalanx guns. These guns are 20 millimeter and they can target aircraft, drones, potentially rockets, and they hone in on it with a radar solution. They can target anti-ship missiles and other targets, which is huge. Gives it a ton of versatility. Just imagine the ability to lock on with a radar, follow a target in, wait for it to get within range, and then pop, 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 just pepper it with a 20mm cannon. It doesn't get any better than that. The Carl Vinson is actually also equipped with 25mm cannons as well. So you need a little more punch, upgrade to the 25mm. It's a crowd pleaser. At the end of the day, the 25mm, one of those through a drone is going to completely take down any drone. And a lot of these are loaded with HEI, high explosive incendiary rounds. So it's essentially like a little grenade going off once this thing hits the target. Just like I said, total crowd pleaser. Now let's talk about the heavy lifters, the fighter jets, the Hawkeyes, the aircraft that are going to be launching off the Carl Vinson, adding to the fight with the Harry S. Truman. First of all, we gotta talk about the big stick of them all, the F-35. The F-35C is gonna be the US Navy's heavy hitter. This beast obviously boasts a lot of stealth capabilities. It's got radar absorbent material, radar absorbent paint. So if you want something to go in, not get painted essentially by any radar out there, you send in the F-35. And the fact that this beast can fold up its wings, be on all the carriers we have, launch itself out into the night and not be seen, deliver its payload and come back, makes it Iran's worst fear. So when you think about what the F-35 is really there for, you think about the F-35 as being the deterrence to Iran. The Houthi rebels, yeah, they've got some missile systems, but them targeting an F-35 is kind of like a dream that'll never happen. So the US Navy knows that the F-35, keeping those things airborne, knowing that those things are going to be flying in the Persian Gulf, in the Red Sea, that's really deterrence for Iran. So when I think of the different aircraft on board the Carl Vinson, I first of all think of the F-35 as being the one that's going to keep Iran up at night. This thing's got air-to-ground munitions with 500-pound bombs, 1,000-pound bombs, all radar guided, also laser guided, and at the end of the day, this thing is a multi-role strike fighter. So it's a single-seat aircraft. It's going to operate in 2, maybe even 4 ships, and it's going to be just laying down the rain, laying down the pain on the Houthi rebels if needed, just a ghost in the night, not being seen. And again, if a strike were to occur going into Iran, you're going to have the B-2s, which are at Diego Garcia, but then you're going to follow that up very closely with these F-35s. And you're going to want the F-35s to be in there as well to counter any air threat. So to do that, they've got AIM-9Xs in internal bays, AIM-120s in internal bays. So basically just swoops in, ghost in the night, protects the B-2s, and drops munitions itself as well. So 1,000-pound bunker busters, 500-pound laser-guided, GPS-guided weapons coming off of the F-35. No big deal. It's an easy day for the F-35 to get in through enemy air defenses, drop its payload, and then get out. So you've got the stealth, you've got that stealth super Chad with the F-35C being in there, but then we've got non-stealthy aircraft as well, the F-18. The F-18, although non-stealthy, doesn't create a massive radar signature. Honestly, it's probably one of the better jets as far as 4th generation fighters go to not be targeted by enemy radars. And the FA-18E leads the way with these 4th generation fighters launching off the ship. At the end of the day, this thing is a single seat beast. This one's more air superiority, although it can be a strike fighter as well. Likely the E models are being used for air superiority to protect the ship, to protect other strike packages from any drones, any Houthi cruise missiles, and then any fighters that may launch out of Iran. And Iran knows that they really can't go teeth to teeth with this E model because of its single seat aggressive air superiority mindset. This thing really is going to just blast out of the sky any F4s, F5s, or any F14s that might be unlucky enough to get up there and try to recreate some sort of Top Gun 2 scenario. These E models are really going to go up against anything that could be put up against it in the region, and they're going to intertwine with any type of 4th generation fighters that might be out there, basically teaming up with any Saudi F-15Es. So E is the single seat model, and then FA-18Fs are going to be launching off the Carl Vinson as well. And these are dual seat aircraft. So you got a fighter pilot on the front, and then you've got a weapon systems operator in the back. So if you want to take out anything with a 4th generation fighter, these jets are going to be your go-to. And at the end of the day, 500-pound bombs, 1,000-pound bombs, especially going up against Houthi rebels. So while we have the F-35C focused in on deterrence for Iran, potentially strikes into Iran if it comes to that point, the F/A-18s are going to be focused on the Houthi rebels, and then as a backup, ideally going into Iran after the suppression of enemy air defenses has been taken down. So after the IADs, the integrated air defenses, have come down with, you guessed it, the EA-18G Growler. And if you've seen my video on the EA-18G Growler, you know how much of a beast this thing is. So it's got the ability to spoof, to jam, to do all kinds of things to IADs, integrated air defense systems, and take those down, take those offline. So once that happens with the EA-18G, which is also operating off the Carl Vinson, now you can send in these 4th generation FA-18Es and Fs and let them just wreak havoc pretty much anywhere on the planet. But really focused on the Houthi rebels as well. These things can go in with the EA-18G combined with them and be a strike package that you would not believe. So that's going to be one of the biggest focuses of the Carl Vinson, is having a strike package for the Houthis, having a strike package for Iran if needed. So that's going to be one of the biggest focuses for the Carl Vinson, is having a strike package with EA-18Gs, Es and Fs going in for the Houthi rebels, and then going in secondarily for Iran if needed with the F-35s leading the way. Really versatile to have both of these strike groups in the area. And then there's E-2D Hawkeyes, which are early warning aircraft for the carrier strike group, really providing a lot of situational awareness, pointing out drones, pointing out other threats. This strike group is a beast. What do you think about it? Let me know what you think about having 2 carrier strike groups now in the Middle East. This is a game changer, really doubling down on the lethality. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Please go ahead and dominate the like button, share this video, and subscribe to the channel. It turns out that only around 12% of you are subscribed to the channel with the millions of views. So if we could get 50, 60% of you subscribe to the channel, we'd have over 1 million subscribers on the channel, and it would help me a ton. It would help me do more videos like this. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you on the next video. Most of all, have a great day.